Hey you guys, so I want to make a video about that dream that I had about an ISIS sky, and then after that all these sleeper cells popping up, and then they were kind of like trying to decide what area in a particular area. I felt like it maybe was going to just be occurring all over the United States, but I could see these lights indicating sleeper cells. Like I knew there were sleeper cells in the area, and it was like kind of like they were trying to decide what area was next, what state, what city. And ever since then, I've been hearing a lot of close calls or false alarms, or no, not necessarily ISIS. When I think of ISIS, I think of how we created ISIS and how we had a hand in creating ISIS. And also, not only that, people, just everyday people, being radicalized here in the States. And also, I believe that there are going to be a lot of people that have, like, just people that have been here, and sleeper cells that might choose to decide that the time is now. And this is based on my dream, because otherwise I wouldn't been thinking about it. A couple stories that came out was, I'm going to use the thumbnail as my cousin's. She lives in New York, so there was a suspicious package found at 33rd Street Station, or 33rd Station, or whatever. And I looked for the store just now, and it turns out to be a pressure cooker. Also, the guy in North Carolina, the air traffic controller, had possession of a pipe bomb at work, or had possession of it, I assume, at work, because he was fired from his job. And Disney World, I found out that maybe that story of Disney World, where the people were, they had been exposed to a disease. I don't want to call it Jerry's, it's something else. But it seems like the story came out, it happened in September, but they are now just reporting that people were affected by it here now, yesterday, 2 days ago. And the church shooting, all that has happened since I had that dream. And I think I just want to remind everybody not to be complacent. Now that I think about it, I think Minister Paul put out a warning about public places. And what else? I just don't want everybody to be complacent of nothing. Just pray every day for the Lord's protection, because I just got a feeling that things are going to be happening. And as a confirmation to that, I watched a video maybe Saturday also, that from the Common Sense Show, the Dave from the Common Sense Show. He was talking about a guy that he worked with. I believe that they both worked in FEMA back when they thought everything, that FEMA was actually concerned about our well-being, and so on and so forth. And the guy told him he was bugging out, basically going off the grid with his family, and basically all these things that he was talking about in 2012, he's beginning to see those things happen now. All those things that they were being prepared for, how to handle, he's seeing all those things beginning to happen now. He lists several other things, so I'm going to leave the video below. Okay, you guys, it's just a real eye-opening thing, and I can believe it because we're in the last days. I just don't want anybody to become complacent, and I'm trying not to be. Also, also that day, that day I posted that dream, I talked about my son having a gun. I was like, boy, give me that gun. When we spotted this guy who I believe was an ISIS person in a car, he grabbed my BB gun that I have here, and he was playing with it. And parts of it was falling out because he was ejecting the clip or whatever. And I was like, boy, give me that gun. So it reminded me of the dream. And then because it's something that I didn't want him to be playing with, obviously. And then after that, all these different stories came out. Okay, you guys, before I wrap up this particular video, I guess I'll go ahead and add this in here. I had a dream about California, and what I heard, because it ties into Dave's Common Sense show, things that you should probably be doing to prepare, or whatever, or keep in mind as it relates to FEMA. But and I was kind of waiting on confirmation. It was a two-part dream. I'll tell this part here first. What I heard was when the lights go out in California, and I want to say it was half of California, but I wrote down, this is November 11th, that morning I wrote down that dream. When the lights go out in California, you're going to need Google Main plus something else for your job. So when the lights go out in California, your people are going to need Google Main. I don't know if this is like Google's some type of Google Main and something else. I don't know if I heard it, and I don't know if I forgot it, for your job. So what I got from this, and there was some revelations of some things that I heard, it seemed as if the lights went out in California and people were without lights, and if they somehow got to some area where there was lights and Wi-Fi, it seemed as if the only jobs that were available were all somehow connected through technology on Google Main and whatever other system this was. And it seems like those were the only jobs that were going to be relevant, like technology jobs. And also, it seemed to me as if the powers that be didn't care if anybody else had any other type of job, like a service job, where it didn't require you using technology if you're in the service industry. And it seemed as if you didn't have a technology job, you were SOL. Also, besides the obvious of some type of something going on in California, I don't know if this represented just California, some type of blackout, some type of whatever. I did have a dream where I saw a wave of darkness or grayness, if you will, representing half of California. Something went on where there was either some type of darkness and earthquake, or just some type of darkness that just went over the north or the south part of California that affected that part of California, half of California. And then I have this dream and Google. And we all know how Google and YouTube are connected, how Google plays a big role in the New World Order. So I just thrown it out there, you guys. I didn't want to forget. And so California and Google and some type of blackout. When the lights go out in California, you're going to need Google Main plus some other type of system, some type of operating system, I don't know, for your job. Oh, and one more thing. There was a girl that I watched yesterday. She's a Christian comedian, and basically, long story short, somebody told her that she needed to use Apple. She needed to use Apple products as opposed to her Toshiba laptop, and she was showing and sharing how her name wasn't coming up on Google in the top searches when she used the Apple product, but then when she used the Toshiba product, it was that. And she kind of made a joke out of it, but she was making it very clear that she didn't really like Apple products. So that may have something to do with it too, but the fact that she mentioned Google reminded me of this dream. Okay, you guys? I don't want to make this too long. I'll come back with some good news, okay? Oh, one more thing. Don't forget about the star, Bethlehem star, the conjunction between Jupiter and Venus. It's tonight. It's tonight. If you can see it, go out and see if you can see it. Okay, you guys?